Morrow, the event coordinator for the University Technology Office, and I welcome you all to Bottling the Magic, virtual events that make you feel. COVID-19 has forced us to change the way that we meet, learn, and connect with each other, leaving us to wonder, how do you make virtual events engaging, immersive, and successful? I'm excited today to share a look into how the UTO has been creating events that make you feel. Since March of 2020, UTO has organized 9 digital events, which has resulted in over 5,000 registrations and has brought in over 3,000 attendees. One of these events, we had to change from a in-person hybrid to a fully online digital event in the middle of the event, which is crazy. But we're just getting started. We currently have 15 events that are going to occur by the end of the year. So how do we do it? First, we start with a reimagining the experience. A traditional event and a virtual event have all the same desired outcomes: to inform, share, or teach. But virtual events have to find a different way to connect with the audience, which starts with changing the scenery. It is my belief that the key to a successful online event is to change the scenery. When we host a traditional event, your attendee has to physically leave their office, home, etc., to come into your location and be part of the day. Well, now they're not going anywhere. So you have to create a new space within their virtual world. Take time to design an experience for them to travel to. Immerse participants in a world that is distinct from their normal day-to-day. With a fully online event, it is all the more critical to create the feeling of change in an environment because you can't literally change the scenery. While doing that, focus on how you want people to feel and make it fun. Commit to a theme. Pull your attendees and presenters in. In a recent event, our Learning Human, pictured here, our presenters immersed themselves into this theme. It made the content a bit more fun and the attendees really loved it. What event was Learning Human? Learning Human was a week-long global event that the UTO hosted at the end of July. We took changing the scenery to a new level, and it was a massive hit. Learning Human was an experimental fusion of hands-on learning, storytelling, tech hacks, and the good kind of shenanigans. Learning Human went from Monday, July 20th at 5 p.m. all the way through Monday, July 27th at 10 a.m., including weekend activities. During this week, we had a variety of things available to do on each day. We had over 2,600 people sign up and join us from 6 continents around the world, and more than 1,200 people joined us throughout the week. There were more than 90 camp counselors, which delivered our experiences and content. Our camp counselors varied from Adobe to Walter Parks to Brandon Kurtowski. They provided over 180 activities with innovative sessions from pizza making to a world-class concert. In the end, we actively provided over 90 hours of content, much of which is available on our Shaping EDU YouTube channel. We did everything we could to bring everyone together, and it was wildly successful. How did we decide on the format? We started by analyzing our goals and asking them some key questions. What time of day works best? We found that the morning provides the most engagement from the audience and has a great attendance rate. How do you break things up? Is it better to split it up among a few days to get the most from attendees? Is it better to connect before the event? I found that breaking things up reduces online fatigue, and to always try to provide as much as you can before the event. And then how do people collaborate together? Between Zoom chat, Slack, Google Docs, virtual platforms, there are so many options. It's good to know what the best choice is for your group and event. How do you increase the access? Is there more than one way to reach the audience? Streaming, Zoom, recordings, what will be the best choice for your event? We decided to make sure to provide enough detail in the agenda to attract the right audience, as well as how we're going to connect with them. And finally, and I think most importantly, is how will it be interactive? What will you do to get people to participate? This seems to be the biggest challenge. Let's start by examining the different ways we can connect with our audience. There are meetings like this today, which provides a fully interactive collaboration environment. This format allows you to connect with attendees, create breakout rooms, and see everyone in a gallery view. Breakout rooms are always great to have intimate conversations, to develop ideas. Webinars are a lecture-style format with a lower interaction component. You still have chat, Q&As, and polling, which is a great way to get feedback and stay connected. Live streaming is another great way to distribute your event to a larger group on a platform that almost all internet users can view from any web browser. This format is more one way, which can be ideal depending on your desired outcome. And then there's post-event recordings, which provide an opportunity for anyone that cannot attend all or some of your sessions, which we find is very helpful to continue the conversation. The foundation for any event is the team, and having the right people on your team will make all the difference. Beyond the obvious, fantastic coordinating and planning team, I find that there's 3 key groups that you have to have. Well, first is your MCs and your hosts. Include engaged members of the community that will facilitate working sessions, make sure the conversations are going and pulling people together. Plus, generally they make it pretty fun for everybody too. I found that having 2 MCs can create a more engaging atmosphere. Virtual events tend to make casual conversation harder, and if 2 people are already having a conversation, the audience tends to engage a bit more. Next is the presenters and the facilitators. Make sure that the people you have are the right people facilitating your event. They need to be relevant to the topic, to your group, and can provide a fresh and interesting spin on the topics. And finally, the moderators. These are the people that are going to make the structure behind the scenes really work. This group would include your Zoom room hosts, chat moderators, Slack moderators, technical support, the list goes on. They are the members of the team that make the event look completely seamless. They will be in the places that you can't. This trusted group of people will be your eyes and ears throughout your entire event. Now that you have the team in your format, now you have to make sure you have the right tools in order for them to be the most successful. Make sure to communicate the best practices that fit your event. What do they need to know? For the UTO, I've created a list of best practices for both speakers and moderators that I have found helpful. In the moderator communication, I include information such as the Zoom system settings that need to be set up for optimal recording, what's expected from them during the session, what time they need to be there, and other important details. For the speakers, I include information such as what size should the slide deck be? What should their space look like when they're presenting? It's another quick tips and tricks. In order to reduce repeating myself all the time or providing up-to-date information to my team without sending multiple updates, I make sure that everyone, I store this in a generic document and I share it out. I then give all this information up front, sort of like the event materials. Once I have the basics set up and the meetings put together, I request that the moderators meet up with the speakers, answer questions, review their roles, make sure that everyone's comfortable with what's going on. I'll also have a separate meeting with just the moderators so that they know exactly what to expect. And because I can't be at every session, sometimes it's just not possible, such as Learning Human. We had 8 at a time, 2 hours a day for 5 days. So I had to trust everyone else. And it's great. My presenters were wonderful. The moderators worked together and they came to me if they had any issues. As we know with virtual events, interaction is key. Bringing people together is great, but now you have to get them to participate. Online events struggle to make this connection because it is easier to tune out the conversation or just multitask. One of the things to encourage interaction is to provide important information ahead of time. Eliminate spending too much of your presentation explaining what you want to talk about and just jump right in. I find an easy way to get this information out is to have a link on a website or just email it to all the attendees. Also, use the tools that are available. There are so many out there. Zoom alone has multiple options: reactions, polling, chat, whiteboards. A tool that I found to be super fun was Menti. Seth demonstrated it last week, and I love that you can see the results and even create like word clouds on the fly. The key to get people involved in your content is to engage in conversation and ask questions. Finally, just have fun. As was mentioned last week also, there's a bunch of ways to get people to break out of their Zoom shell and play games. Talk to them, create a virtual background. Start the day off with bingo, scavenger hunt. The possibilities are endless. If you haven't worked with a graphic facilitator, I highly recommend it. These artists bring a level of style to your event that cannot be duplicated anywhere. Plus, you end up with an amazing artifact to share with your group. So what is it? A graphic facilitator provides a live drawn image and text base of the ideas that come from your event. And why should you use it? This process helps participants see systems and build on the group's ideas. It encourages divergent thinking, creates an easy way to build a consensus, and decide on how you want to move forward. It's a super valuable artifact, which is a snapshot into your event that can be used forever. UTO has utilized this service successfully at many events. However, there's an additional cost. This is one of ours from Learning Human and one of our wonderful campfires. And here's a couple more from the other campfires we had throughout the week or around the flagpole. We have so many great tools at our fingertips that we can use to expand our events. Since March, we've been all mastering the art of a Zoom meeting. But how far have you taken this tool? Have you gone to the breakout rooms? How many polls have you used? Have you ever used the whiteboard? There's more than just chat and screen sharing. And of course, now there's closed captioning, which is an amazing resource available. Take a look, play with the tools, see what else you might like. And then I suggest to always use short links whenever possible. Zoom links are long and complicated. If you aren't embedding them into a title, I say always use a short link. I feel a website should be the backbone of your virtual event. Use this tool to communicate information and as a connection point for your attendees, your speakers, and your team. This website is just as important as a presentation. I always like to have presentation links embedded into the website to help with logging in also. Other tools are the Google Suite. I always use Google Docs to collaborate ideas, slides to help create a virtual idea together, such as a scrapbook. We also use slides to help make virtual backgrounds. I really love virtual backgrounds. These are a quick and easy way to change the scenery. For Learning Human, we provided a customizable virtual background, which people could update the template, change their role, add their names, put in a fun slogan, and just be creative. It was widely popular. And then there's digital credentials. Digital credentialing at your event actively engages attendees and gives them tangible evidence of their experience. Badges can add a game or scavenger hunt to your event that you can use to draw attendees' attention to the elements that you want them to notice the most. The information contained in the badges help others to know exactly what the badge was awarded for, whether it's attending an event or completing a training. Your attendees will be able to share badges they've earned on social media to advertise your event and the amazing things they did while they were there. Badges can be one of the most valuable pieces of swag. These are just a few that we used at Learning Human. Some of the other tools that we used at Learning Human were Zoom, which was the main platform. We hosted all plenary sessions and presentation sessions via Zoom. However, we did stream the plenary sessions, such as the morning around the flagpole and the evening campfires. through ASU Live. And on the screens in Verbella, this gave us the ability to host as many people as possible. Zoom meetings have a limited number of attendees, and we wanted to make sure that no one was left out. Verbella was also used to host exclusive sessions and added an element of fun, feeling connection between the attendees. People were able to drive motorboats, watch fireworks, and networked in many different ways. We also utilized Slack before, during, and after the event. For the event, we were able to promote speakers, sessions, sponsors, and create an overall enthusiasm as the event approached. During, we were able to use it to send reminders on session times and descriptions. We asked questions. What were people thinking? Played games such as Photoshop tennis. We also used it as our key point of information desk or lobby. Someone was always available to answer questions or solve problems as they came up. And afterwards, we used this to keep the conversation going. People shared documents, videos, and updates. And then Badger was our digitally credentialed service for the day. Here is an example of one of the ways that we interacted with the campers via Google Slides. We set up a scrapbook deck that allowed campers to share their experience and show us what their highlights were. We ended up getting over 20 submissions, and it was really fun to see what people enjoyed the most. Verbella. Seth touched on this a bit last time we met. The high-level overview is this is a virtual platform which helps people feel like they stepped into an event. The campus can be customized. Ours was as much as possible. They made it look as much ASU as they could. They were still, I think they're customizing it further now. Your avatar can travel doing everything from visiting classrooms or hanging on the beach, as I said, driving speedboats. It provided a new twist on our virtual conference. When you go to the beach and watch the fireworks or visit a presentation, it made you feel like you were there with other people. You could be close enough to them to actually have a true conversation with one person. You could find a way to talk to the entire room. It just provided another level of networking that made you just feel like you were back at a regular conference again and not at home. In the beginning, people were a bit cautious to participate in yet another platform, but what we learned was once they got in, they used it and they absolutely loved it. It helped that we had exclusive events in there to get people to get over the hump, to want to go in, and I will definitely be using that in the future. We unfortunately added this very last minute at our event, and so there was a few things that we had to iron out, which now we know all the tips and tricks, and we can get in there, and I'm really excited about using it again. Our promotional tools. Slack, as I mentioned earlier, was used before, during, and after. We figure it's vital to starting and keeping conversation going. We like to keep the Slack channels open and use it for multiple things. It's easy to set up and easy to use for a wide audience. Like I said, we use it to build up the excitement and engagement leading up to any events. We answer questions, we ask questions, create polls, engage the community. We like to create virtual block parties. Start a fun conversation with your attendees before the event. Ask questions anywhere from what they want to get from the event to their favorite song. And don't let it stop there. Keep it going. Use this platform to progress your ideas and status reports. And then always share your story. What happened? What is happening? People need to know. Make sure you share your story in multiple ways and different versions of it. Images, videos, actual words. Social media provides a way to reach such a large audience with your message. Create, buzz, and amplify your event. I would like to share our sizzle reel that we did share via social media all over the place. It's just 2 minutes, so just here's a moment.
Hello, campers! Welcome to the first ever Learning Human.
It's a terrific opportunity for us to learn from each other, play with one another.
One word.
Doghouse. And a chance to catch up with old friends and meet some new friends.
We heard from amazing panels of industry partners.
I could explore all the ways that I could be somewhere else and see the world differently.
Of students.
How can we provide options that are flexible to the online student?
You all who are educators and partners in education. We flipped scary stories and there was a lot going on, creating the future that we want and not just succumbing to a zombie apocalypse. The importance of relationships.
Oh, this is amazing.
We can have all the tech we want and things happen when we have relationships and connections. Some of these big themes that we see again and again: access, student experience, and is the value of universities and education.
What I wanted to do today was to spend just a little bit of time talking about this bigger issue of how do we shape a more equitable future for learning.
We've moved from the person to the family, the collectives, the community, society.
We have to start working on what I call making learning more universal.
We need to think less massive and more personalized.
If you're Black or brown, if you're elderly, if you live in a rural area, you're still less likely to have the internet.
Black girls in Hartford, Connecticut, that have to walk to McDonald's to do their homework.
Social media, it's uniting Indigenous people globally in a fight for justice and a fight for human rights.
Right now, we think that the learner is the child, the adolescent, the late adolescent, and the early adult. Why do we think that?
Education is broader than that. It's the things that we learn in life.
So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. It's been many years since I enjoyed camp, but I think that Learning Human has made me believe that camp is wherever we want it to be and is wherever we are, and that learning together in these experiences can be fun and engaging. Thank you all so much. We will see you soon.
I didn't explain everything I just said. I don't know what does. So one question that came to me before this was, what worked? I want to let you know that the first part of it was the planning team. This was 7 straight days of content planning. It wasn't easy. It took a lot of people to come together. Our team pivoted, ran with the new ideas as they came in, was willing to change everything as needed, and communicated in a way that just blew my mind. The people that I get to work with every day are amazing. Another big popular item was our evening campfires. We ran every night between 5 and 8, which were highly, highly popular. We started with a value-led campfire conversation, which was about an hour, and then we connected socially for the remainder of the 2 hours. Anywhere from improv to concerts, game night, we had a good time. Our theme, who knew how many people missed being at summer camp? It was so much fun to spend time with attendees and sponsors. And they were all just having so much fun being at summer camp again. We had amazing sponsor or co-convener, as we call them, support. Lots of groups came in and just wanted to be part of this and have fun with us. They had amazing content and ideas, and we were able to connect so many people over this week. We created fun camp kits. It was a new way to introduce our swag now that we were virtual. It was a pre-purchased item, and we mailed it out to you. People had a lot of fun with these. We saw the bandanas everywhere and the cups, and it was really great to see it being integrated throughout the event. And then our moderators. We were so lucky that the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College was able to volunteer some of their student workers to be our moderators throughout the week. It was a tough job we asked of them, and their level of professionalism was completely off the charts. And then there's our communications group. They were able to craft such a detailed and wonderfully worded communications plan that it changed everything. They came together. It was effective in getting information out in a timely manner and on a regular basis. We made sure that everybody knew what was going on and when. They pumped everyone up for sessions. And in the end, it was one of the most talked about parts of the events. People loved our communication. That's not right. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. And then there's always lessons learned. In the end, I mean, how do you not have lessons learned? The event was a massive undertaking. It spanned 7 days, and we had 10 weeks to plan it. So of course, our top lesson is to provide more time to plan. If we continue this event, we will be planning it much, much sooner. Another big piece of feedback that came from everybody was to still provide a PDF version of the agenda. The website, although highly detailed and super descriptive, was a bit crowded, and you couldn't search. If you were looking for someone in particular or a topic in particular, it didn't have the option built in. So a suggestion that came about that was to provide a PDF version that people can print off and have, or be able to search for words in it. I'll definitely be doing that from now on. And then it wasn't really popular, but it got passed over. So I would definitely be putting more exclusive content in there, because when there was exclusive content, people were excited to be part of the exclusive group in Virbela. And then time zones. No one understands where Arizona is. Our time zone is so weird and it throws everybody off. It's an easy fix, and we figured out a better way to communicate it going forward. But man, Arizona. And then how can we help? We're here. First, I want you to know that we share all of my event resources on the UTO Creative Communications webpage. There's an extensive list of checklists and guides available for anyone here that would like to download them. They are Google Docs, so they are constantly being updated and changed as we learn more. We are documenting our path for you. The template page also has great links for presenting options, storytelling, social media. It is a plethora of information. And then we're always happy to work with you on an event. If you want to meet and discuss, ask questions, I'm always happy to help out in any way I can. And that's it. Thank you all. I appreciate you asking me to be here today. And if there's any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was great information. You can breathe. You can breathe. You're
water.
You did great.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have a couple questions for you. I'm going to start with a question that came earlier. What does your planning team look like? If you can tell us a little bit about that. This Learning Human was very robust, as you've mentioned, and you all should feel so wonderful about it. I thought it was so amazing, and thank you for sharing all of the wonderful information with us. But can you tell us a little bit about what your planning team looks like?
Absolutely. So we had our camp director was Laura Geringer, and she helped us with crafting our content and bringing together our sponsors. And Samantha and Love went out and found us all the wonderful people to speak at our event. So they were our, I guess, content builders also. I think there's a better word. I can't come up with it yet.
Groundskeeper.
There we go. Thank you.
And Lev was camp chef because he was always cooking up recipes.
He was. He definitely was. We had a communications team that took about 3 or 4 people to really get information out. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of days, and one person would have just been steamrolled. So we had quite a few, always building, always growing. A graphic designer was always involved to help us get those beautiful graphics up and put people together. We had a website designer that always made sure the website was moving and updated at all times. We had me, the event coordinator, which I'll also note was the website designer. We had adventure specialists set aside who helped us run Verbella, culture innovators together. The list goes on and on, unfortunately. I can go on forever.
That's perfect. That gives everyone a little bit of insight of how many people were behind this project. Okay, next question. How do you decide how to break up an in-person event to make it virtual? So, you know, if you were going to have this in person, it might look very different, obviously, in your virtual world. How did you decide what you were going to keep and maybe what wouldn't be included?
It took a lot, actually, because we had a few times where we had to actually cut stuff in the end. It got to a point where we got overloaded and there was too much, and we had to really think about how people were going to experience it. We don't want you to get the fatigue or get bored or lose it. So we knew we had to break it up in a way that, one, helped with time zones, and then two, made it very clear that people could come and go and know what was going on, and then we wanted you to be with us. So we wanted to break it up in the days. We had a morning session and we had an evening session. And the really interesting part was some of the evening sessions, people would be like, well, it's 4 a.m., so I'm not going to talk and wake up the house, but I can't not participate. And that was funny.
That's awesome. I love that. Can you talk a little bit about the camp kits? So how they were received, would you do it again, right? The pre-done kits that you all sent out for those that had signed up and wanted those boxes. Is that something you think was successful, and would you do it again if you continue this event?
I would definitely do it again. I would love to not do it from outside in my house. Logistically, that wasn't super fun,
Sure.
but I have wonderful teenage girls who helped me box all 200 of them. It was great. I would add a few new things I've learned in the past. People suggested we should have more printed information within the box.
Okay.
And it would have been hard because we kept adding so many things at the last minute, but I would definitely add more printed. I think they were widely received. People loved them. I loved them. I loved doing it even though they all came to my house.
Okay, sure. We loved it as well. We obviously spoke about your kit early on because we loved that idea. So thank you so much for sharing all the resources. Our boxes just arrived yesterday, so very excited to start packing those for an upcoming event we have. Okay, next question. How do you organize your tasks?
I am a bit old school. I am all about the spreadsheet.
Okay.
I love Google Sheets. I have a spreadsheet that I have built on and grown every idea I can possibly think of, make sure that it's done, and then I share it with my team. There's actually a copy of that on the templates page.
Okay.
Available. But yeah, I'm all spreadsheets.
Perfect.
Erin, do you want to talk about how we use Slack to organize various planning committees and dimensions of these events? Because for Learning Human, there were quite a channels in the back end that allowed us to sync up and mitigate, challenges that arose pretty quickly because of the triage capabilities.
Building onto that, yes, we had multiple teams. That way, the planning team was so robust, and there were so many of us doing so many different moving parts that not all 30 people needed to know every small detail. So we had a video planning team, and we had concert teams and content teams, and yeah, I had multiple channels that helped organize thoughts and keep things together. It was very helpful.
Okay, perfect. One question is, if you have a more reluctant audience with regards to participation, how do you encourage them to participate and engage?
I try to just talk to them, pull them out, play the game, play music, I found is universal. People love music. You can put that on in the background, and generally you will see heads bopping all over Zoom. But it's just, you have to ask them questions, ask them to react to something, and just, it's the best way to do it. You're not going to get everybody. It's not possible.
Sure. Okay. Another question is, will you be doing more of these in the future? Do you think you would change your theme at all? If so.
We've talked about this in multiple times. I don't know yet. I want to keep it because it was so fun and there's so much more we can do with it. But on the other hand, I know that there's so many more fun ways we could do it. We talked about space camp, and so it's definitely would do it again.
Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics. Thank you. I was
nice.
So there's a lot, but yeah, we would absolutely do it again. I would keep the summer theme again, or at least come back to it.
Okay. I actually was a huge fan of the theme. I love a theme in general, so this was very fun. So that's great. Sandra asks, what music resources do you use? Oh, yes.
I use anything that I won't record over. So Warwick Pond was amazing, and he was able to create us some custom music specifically for Learning Human. But when it's just a regular event and I'm just trying to get people up, as long as I'm not recording it, I'll just put anything on Spotify wise in the background.
Okay, so something fun and upbeat. If you're not recording, you can pull from pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, you never want to record it, and I always make sure that no one talks over it either.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. A question from Victoria. In your opinion, do you think that formal events can have the same great experience virtually, such as organizations who have a gala or a more formal donor engagement?
I'm sure, absolutely. I'm trying to think of exactly how that would go, but I don't see why not. I don't see why every event can't have the ability to switch over as needed and keep going, keep the momentum going. You don't want to lose out just because you couldn't meet. There's absolutely a way to make a formal event still formal and online.
Yeah, I agree. Question from Michael is, do you do social on your events? And if you show an image of a participant, does ASU require that you get a release from that person?
I believe so, and I have started to integrate the photo release into the Aventry registration process. Everybody just has to sign it right away.
Sure.
That way, worry about it later.
Okay.
But yes, we do social in our events. If that, I know there's a two-part question. Sorry.
Sure.
UTO has LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, and we do pictures all over the place.
Okay.
All our videos are live on YouTube as well. Big YouTube presence.
Yes, big YouTube presence.
Okay, perfect. Tanya asks, besides the checklists and guides, did you do any work or practice sessions with the speakers or presenters prior to ensure the content, internet connectivity, and video were well done?
Yes, absolutely. I met with the moderators a couple different times to answer questions to make sure they were absolutely comfortable, because I had to trust them to go out and meet with their presenters without me.
Sure.
And I walked them through what the presenters needed to do. If they felt uncomfortable, I did go to those dry runs, but we dry run everything all the time.
Okay.
Big fan of dry runs. I know it takes a long time, but it's just, I feel it's necessary.
Sure. Okay. I actually have a question for you. We don't have any remaining questions in the chat, so I'm going to ask you if you can share your biggest takeaway from planning this event. So we heard about your learning lessons, right, which we all have. So just your biggest takeaway in general for moving forward?
I'm going to say no matter how big or crazy the idea is, you can totally do it. Because this was a back of the napkin random pie in the sky idea, and we're like, maybe 300 or 400 people will come. That would be super fun. And then 2,600 people signed up.
Yeah,
so,
amazing.
And it, because of its growth, continuous growth, anything can happen. You can do anything. We can do it all if you have the right team.
Agreed. Okay, well, those are all the questions. We're going to give everybody back 20 minutes of their day, but thank you all so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the session as much as we did, and the recording and the resources will be up on the OUEP website in a couple days, probably early next week. So we hope to see you at our next session. Thank you again, Erin and Samantha, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for including the creative and comms team in the work we're doing at UTO. It really means a lot, and it really validates, I think, the work that this little shop within the University Technology office is pulling off. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you both for meeting with us and talking through your events with us. I know we've had some one-off conversations. We look forward to more of those. So everyone have a great day. Thank you.